In this video, we're going to go through how you can set up groupings within your course. Keep in mind that groupings are different than groups. Groupings allow you to hide or show an entire activity based upon what grouping a student is in. So, we're going to navigate to a course where we have instructor rights, and you know that because we have the turn editing on button. We're not going to do anything just yet here with any of these individual activities. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to actually set up our groupings. So underneath users, there's an icon that says groups. We'll go ahead and click on groups. And previously, in the other video, we talked about how you can actually set up individual groups. Individual groups are going to have to be set up prior to setting up groupings. So in the previous video we had block 1 students and block 2 students, and you can see that in block 1 Alyssa is in block 1 group, and in block 2 Lynn is in block 2. So now that we have our group set up, what we're going to actually do is apply our groups to our groupings. So right at the top you'll see a tab that says groupings. If we go ahead and click on that, this is a tab where it allows us to create or edit our groupings. We don't have any groupings set up, so we're going to go ahead and create one. If you click on create grouping, it brings up a window, and I'm going to name this block 1 grouping. And then I hit save changes. So I know that my block 1 is going to go into my block 1 grouping. Right now there's no groups associated with this block 1 grouping. While I'm at it, I'm going to create the block 2 grouping. Oops. Hit save changes. And now I have my 2 groupings. And what I have to do is apply the groups to my groupings. The way that I do that is, to see at the very far right, you'll say show groups in grouping. If I click on that icon, it allows me to add groups to my groupings. So I'm going to select block 1 for my block 1 grouping, hit add, and go back to my groupings. And then I'm going to add block 2. Notice underneath the groups it says this group block 1 is associated with this grouping block 1. I'm going to click on the same icon, show you groups in grouping, and I'm going to select block 2 to be part of block 2 grouping. And I go back to my groupings. So now what I've done is I've associated the 2 groups that I have, block 1 and block 2 groups, with a block 1 and block 2 grouping. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to navigate back to my course, and keep in mind that Alyssa was in block 1, so now she's in block 1 grouping because I made that association with each other. I'm going to turn editing on, and let's say for example I want to hide this test form right here from Alyssa, but because she's in block 1, and I want block 2, who Lynn has the ability to see this. So if I go to update the actual activity, second from the bottom you'll see common module settings. If I scroll down on that, you'll see a icon that says grouping. There's a little question mark there. If you have any problems, you can always click on it, the question mark, and it'll tell you exactly what that thing's for. And what we're going to do is I'm going to set up grouping, and I want Alyssa not to be able to see this activity. Keep in mind that Alyssa's in block 1. I selected block 2 grouping, and I want to only make it available for those group members. If I hit save and return to course, you'll now notice that once it loads, right here is in parentheses. It even tells me who this particular activity is designed for and who can see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in. You notice up here at the top, I'm logged in as Alyssa. Remember, she was part of group 1. Right now, I haven't refreshed the page. She has the ability to see the test form. If I refresh this page, you'll notice that it is actually gone and not visible to her anymore, and only group ing 2 can use that individual activity. Now you can do groupings with not only activities, but you can also do groupings with individual resources. So if I wanted to make this link to Google only available to Alyssa's group, I could click on update. I can hit common module settings, and right here again where it says grouping, I can change that if I so desire, but make it available only to group members. And block 1, which is what Alyssa was in, I hit save and return to course. And now, if I was able to log in as Lynn, you would notice that Lynn would not see this link to Google. So that's the way that you can hide and show content to individual groups and groupings in your course.